One evening, Jesus went with his disciples to pray in a garden outside the city of Jerusalem.
On reaching the place, he said to them, "Pray that you will not fall into temptation." He withdrew about a stone's throw beyond them, knelt down and prayed, "Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me, yet not my will, but yours be done."
Suddenly, a group of soldiers came. They arrested Jesus and took him away. Just as he was speaking, Judas, one of the 12, appeared. With him was a crowd armed with swords and clubs, sent from the chief priests, and the teachers of the law, and the elders. Now the betrayer had arranged a signal with them. "The one I kiss is the man. Arrest him and lead him away under guard." Going at once to Jesus, Judas said, "Rabbi," and kissed him. The men seized Jesus and arrested him.
Jesus was sentenced to die, even though he had done nothing wrong. Jesus, who never sinned, sacrificed his life in exchange for all of us who sin.
Once more, Pilate came out and said to the Jews gathered there, "Look, I am bringing him out to you to let you know I find no basis for a charge against him." When Jesus came out wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe, Pilate said to them, "Here is the man." As soon as the chief priests and their officials saw him, they shouted, "Crucify! Crucify!" But Pilate answered, "You take him and crucify him. As for me, I find no basis for a charge against him." The Jewish leaders insisted, "We have a law, and according to that law he must die, because he claimed to be the Son of God."
After Jesus died, his body was buried in a tomb. A big stone was rolled in front of the entrance of the tomb. 2 soldiers stood in front of Jesus' grave to guard it. So Joseph bought some linen cloth, took down the body, wrapped it in the linen, and placed it in a tomb cut out of rock. Then he rolled a stone against the entrance of the tomb. Mark 15:46 through 47.
Angels visit the tomb. Jesus' earthly body lay lifeless from Friday afternoon until Sunday morning, but the story doesn't end there. 3 days later, a wonderful miracle happened. Angels appeared and rolled away the stone. There was a silent earthquake, for an angel for the Lord came down from his heaven and going into the tomb, rolled back the stone and sat on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothes were white as snow. Matthew 28:2-3.
The soldiers were afraid and ran away. Some women who were Jesus' friends came to visit Jesus' tomb.
But when they looked inside the tomb, Jesus' body was gone.
The guards were so afraid of him that they shook and became like dead men. The angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid, for I know that you are looking for Jesus, who was crucified. He is not here. He has risen, just as he said. Come and see the place where he lay." Matthew 28:4-6.
Jesus' friends were so happy, they quickly went away to tell the disciples. When Peter and John heard the news, they didn't know what to think, so they ran to the tomb. To their amazement, the tomb was empty. "Where is Jesus?" they wondered.
When they came back to the tomb, they told all these things to the 11 and to all the others. It was Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary the mother of James, and the others with them who told this to the apostles. But they did not believe the women, because their words seemed to them like nonsense. Peter, however, got up and ran to the tomb. Bending over, he saw the strips of linen lying by themselves, and he went away wondering to himself what had happened. Luke chapter 24, verse 9-12.
On the same day, 2 men walking along a road were talking about everything that had happened to Jesus. As they talked, Jesus himself came up to them, but they were kept from recognizing him. Jesus joined them on their walk and asked to hear about this man that they had been talking about. As they approached the village to which they were going, Jesus continued on as if he were going farther. But they urged him strongly, "Stay with us, for it is nearly evening. The day is almost over." So he went in to stay with them. When he was at the table with them, he took bread, gave thanks, broke it, and began to give it to them. Then their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he disappeared from their sight. They asked each other, Were not our hearts burning within us while he talked with us on the road and opened the scriptures to us? Luke 24:28 through 32.
Later that evening, the disciples were gathered together when suddenly Jesus appeared to them. Jesus stayed with the disciples for a while and taught them many things. They were happy to have Jesus with them again.
On the evening of that first day of the week, when the disciples were together with the doors locked for fear of the Jewish leaders, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." After he said this, he showed his hands and side. The disciples were overjoyed when they saw the Lord.
Soon, Jesus needed to return to his Father in heaven. He told his disciples, "Go and tell everyone in the world the good news about me. And don't worry," Jesus added, "I will always be with you in spirit." Then, right before their eyes, Jesus returned to heaven to be with his Father, God. When he had led them out to the vicinity of Bethany, he lifted up his hands and blessed them. While he was blessing them, he left them and was taken up into heaven. Then they worshipped him and returned to Jerusalem with great joy. Luke 24:50 through 52.
Every Easter we celebrate Jesus' resurrection and the wonderful gift of salvation Jesus gave us through his death. Jesus lives.